After a whole lot of analysis, I've solved what Ruin's trying to tell us. In Ruin, we play as Cassie, who is desperate to save her best friend. She goes on many excursions and we see the fruits of her labor. And whatever ending you get, it appears unfortunate. Though Ruin's lore is confusing and jumbled, there's one thing the community has concluded, that the Princess Quest ending is canon. They clearly don't know that it's canonically called Vanny Volume 2. The true ending debate feels cut and dry. Let's run over the evidence for VV2 first, and why it's been the top choice amongst the 6 candidates. First, there's the Vanny mask. Who better to make an evil dancing rabbit lady into a security system than the security guard Vanessa, the good side of said rabbit lady. Along with this, we see a headless Freddy with damage closely resembling Lemon Freddy's in both Vanny volumes. Then there's caught in a loop playing when we fall down the wormhole, or should I say rabbit hole, and the sword plunged into the Princess Quest 3 arcade cabinet on the other end of the rabbit hole. Or at least when you're wearing the mask. The glitches around it are very cool looking though. Then the glitch trap blob dude on the wall in the silhouette as well. I don't understand the logic here. The lantern on top of the cabinet also might symbolize the princess putting it down as her job is done. Finally, there's the environmental and ending clues. It's clear that they're hinting at something. After all, why else include the fact that Cassie can use the elevator? Or include the article on an earthquake and not a collapse. Even the fact that the area we face Burn Trap in the base game is intact is odd. Not only that, but also, the only missing comic from the collectible we can unlock is Vanny Volume 2. Then, Gregory mentions a friend who has a map of the Pizzaplex. It wouldn't make sense to be Freddy since he's programmed by Fazbear and they want to hide everything. And it's still interesting as most people say it's Vanessa. And even the Brazil ending shows a parallel to the VV2 ending. But I think most of this could be explained away in more logical conclusions. And not only that, there's more in addition to it. I think that the ending people have falsely dubbed the Burn Trap ending is canon. Again, they clearly don't know that its canon name is Burn It All Down. Let's start with the small things. First, there's the music. During Burn It All Down, there's an exclusive song to it called True Ending. Then there's the Vanny graffiti all around the Pizzaplex, and it's mostly new. Then there's the Vanny ears on the first poster. While Cassie's design from the poster is outdated, it's interesting how they overlook it and aren't the same as both the mask from Help Wanted and the mask we see in Ruin. It's the ears from the full body costume we see in the base game. I do find their placement interesting, as if Vanny was pulling all of the strings. But how could that be if her soul was set free? In the first version of this theory, I go into the sword in the Princess Quest 3 cabinet, but I would recommend ID's Fantasies video, link in the description, to watch after this one. But what I would like to point out is the glitches. I mentioned how they're cool earlier, but what I didn't mention was their flow inwards, towards the art of the princess. This feels like it symbolizes glitch traps hold on Vanessa growing rather than weakening. And the lantern, though real, might symbolize her death, as it's what we see on every death screen. But if I keep pointing you there, why is there time left on the video? Well, that's because there's much more that ID's Fantasy did not cover. In fact, even in the old script, it was the meat of my theory, and it still is now. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, I'd like to introduce you to Gregory's mysterious friend. As mentioned, people think it's Vanessa, though I believe that it doesn't fit and sounds more like him. My friend agrees, but he believes it to be Glamrock Freddy. Like I said, he was programmed by Fazbear and logically wouldn't have a map of the tunnels. Though Gregory could have done it, this wouldn't make much sense since he relies on it to guide Cassie. But then, who is this friend? Let me introduce you to Luis Cabrera. Now, I can hear the angry comments already, even as I'm writing this. Heck, even as I'm recording this. But I assure you, I have good reason. In the emails and special delivery, Lewis is shown to care about Ness, and even notices her odd behavior. He's the only one, but it's evident he knows that something is wrong. This is because he's sent red flag reports every time suspicious search activity arises on company internet. Lewis has a crush on Vanessa, and also is the only person to know that Vanessa is not alright. This is where it gets interesting. In Security Breach, you can find these little messages, and one of them is called Red Flag. This caught my attention for obvious reasons. In the message itself, it has no relation with red flags. Let me read some of these messages to you. Out of order. Inventory check. There's no record of a PQ3 arcade, yet there is a cabinet tucked away in Fazer Blast. Won't work though. Sometimes I hear it in attract mode, but I haven't seen a single image displayed. Too creepy. Leave it where it is, at least until I play parts 1 and 2. BBW mate log. Maintenance log. The BB World game has been acting up. Customers have complained that it starts to glitch over time. I headed to the theater to fix it and now it's gone. I never saw a move request, so it should still be there somewhere. I guess I'll check again after the company meeting. Arcade conspiracy. Exit interview. They're working together. The arcades. They're hiding something. The glitches. Glitch them all at the same time. Maybe the princess will recognize me. She's testing me. I am not yet worthy. The others are protecting it. Let me stay. I'm so close. Just one more night, please. I can save the princess. A-Arcade mate log. Maintenance log. Why is the Monte Golf A-Arcade and mini golf course? It makes absolutely no sense. It seems to work okay otherwise. CFF mate log. Maintenance log. Chica feeding frenzy in the bakery won't turn off. Even when unplugged, the game just kept running. There's no way it has that much residual charge. PQ1 mate log. Maintenance log. There's a Princess Quest 1 machine somewhere in the building. An actual stand-up arcade. I guess the devs pulled it from that old mobile game. Why port to arcade? PQ2 mate log. Maintenance log. Princess Quest 2. Won't boot properly. No idea why. Just shuts down when I try to play it, like it's personal. Doesn't matter anyway. I still haven't found Princess Quest 1. Red flag. Maintenance log. I did it. I did what you wanted. I beat parts 1 and 2. Why won't you turn on? What else is there? Tell me. Torn paper. It is there, but you can't see. Alone in the dark, I found the key. So, there's 9 interesting messages. That's a decent number, especially when you consider it's 9/50ths of the total number of messages in the game. The specific messages I chose, I believe, tell a story. First, we have torn paper. I believe this riddle is referring to Princess Quest. Alone in the dark. The princess needs a lantern to see, and is the only character aside from the old man at the start and end of 2. The key is the key to saving Vanessa. It is there, but you can't see. I think this is a message Vanessa sent for Lewis to find, hoping he'd help her find the Princess Quest machines, which it's hinted she knew about them through cut voice lines, and free her from Glitch Trap, a plague on her mind that's there but not visible. Something no one would believe her about, and Lewis was already onto it. Then we have Out of Order, and all of the arcade game reports. I think Lewis, who has already been established working for the IT department, the red flag reports, and the marketing department, transferred similarly to Vanessa in order to find the games. And he became a sort of tester/technician, which he would seem to have the capability to handle for the games, and he filed reports on them and things he noticed. The voice/tone in each is incredibly similar. Apart from the one for the first game, it feels like the person before Lewis, who might have died. The most interesting messages of these, though, are red flag and arcade conspiracy. In the latter, it mentions the princess and saving her. Along with this, it feels just as unhinged as the former does, which, interestingly, is also labeled maintenance log, just like the other ones I've mentioned. In one of the Princess Quest maintenance logs, it's established that they've not found the first game. If the first game was found later than the rest and with the same guy, then the sudden switch makes no sense. Along with this, we know they must have been found in descending order, meaning the timeline would be as follows. The previous tester finds Princess Quest 1 and is incredibly confused. The all-staff meeting, which I think Rytos has a good theory on, link in the description, leads to his termination. Lewis gets the message from Ness and his worries fester. He transferred to work at the Pizzaplex, not only to keep an eye on her, but to find the games he's theorized. But that's just a theory. A Lewis theory, the riddle refers to. He begins working on maintenance logs, beginning with the arcade, acting confused as to why it's there. Following this, his attention is pulled to CFF and BBW. Why are they so strange? Is there something about the arcade games here? He's found the strangest things about them. What doesn't he know? He uncovers the third Princess Quest game. He's naturally shocked. He transferred to keep an eye on Ness and perhaps gather clues on how to free her. Maybe the riddles mean he has to be alone in the dark, the person who will beat the games. When he finds the second game, he feels offended. He needs to find the first game and beat it as soon as he can to save the princess. When he finds the first game, he's able to play it. He beats it. The third game still isn't satisfied. He's finished the first two. What doesn't he know? The company notices Lewis's behavior. A higher-up says to fire him. They know he's too close to disrupting their plans. At the exit interview, Lewis finally cracks. He needs to glitch them all at the same time, be reworld, feeding frenzied, the whole lot. That's the prophecy. His prophecy. He did the research. It's a Lewis theory. That's a lot now. Okay, so this might feel odd, but hear my final thoughts out. I swear I can explain it to you. I can explain what the story means and its implications, and why I believe I know the plot of Help Wanted 2. Alright, so as many YouTubers and fans have pointed out, in Ruin there was a dev note mentioning foreshadowing for a circus. Then there's the merch from Funko, saying from Five Nights at Freddy's Balloon Circus, as if it's a game or piece of media we haven't gotten yet. Along with this, another thing pointed out, way more even, is the parallels between the Silver Eyes in Security Breach and between the Twisted Ones in Ruin. I'd recommend looking into it, since both YouTubers FNAF and the game theorists have pretty solid theories on it that I think are fresh new perspectives on the interpretations of the games. This has led people to believe that Help Wanted 2 will parallel the fourth closet, which just so happens to have Circus Baby's Pizza World. But I digress. I think that Lewis will be the protagonist of Help Wanted 2. There's dozens of reasons why as well. Lewis ends up transferring to work at the Pizzaplex because Ness did. Maybe the Princess Quest games would be there too. When he does, he beta tests the test games. Fortunately, Princess Quest is on record. Unfortunately, though, it's already been checked. The sequel hasn't. He slowly begins to drive himself mad when he finds it. He writes his own prophecy, his mind maddening along the way. He would be worthy, and if not, he'd find the worthy. In ID's theory, she mentioned that she believes Gregory is trapped within a loop, and that makes sense considering the Princess Quest's main theme, Caught in a Loop. It's the music playing in this video. It plays during all three games. This is the one that plays in the wormhole in Ruin as well, so they made sure to remind us of it. Maybe the lantern being untouched means Gregory never continued his quest. Lewis will be working with Gregory not just to save Cassie, but to save Vanessa. Lewis will be the Jessica, Gregory will be the Carlton/John, and Cassie, just like in Ruin, will be the Charlie. Perhaps we might meet Baby again too, especially considering that it's Circus Baby's Pizza World. So I think Lewis will be your player character in Help Wanted 2. Along with this, I believe that the story will be Lewis at least trying to save Vanessa. Whether or not he succeeds will most likely be up to the player. So what do you guys think? Did I miss anything major? Leave it in the comments. And with that, remember, keep thinking like a gem. And the best part, even if I'm wrong, I can write it in the program override. Plus, I don't think it's impossible that we'll play as Cassie's dad, but playing as Lewis trying to save Vanessa makes more sense for it being Help Wanted 2, and not like Security Breach 2 or Ruin 2.